What's up, YouTube? I am Josh, the DM of the Glactic War Aftermath in Andromeda. And before we first start, warning: Dirtbag and Dexton do not claim any. Never mind. Warning: the use of me reference to iconic characters, locations, etc. from many movies, games, video games, movies, TV shows. We do not claim any right to it, and we can use it under the fair use law, and it's only for entertainment purposes. So, today's video, as I said in the last video, is about the iconic ship in the story of the Glactic War, the 50 States Class Super Heavy Dreadnought carrier, of course. These warships are massive in size. To put in scale, these warships, by the very beginning of the Glactic War, was 25 miles long. That doesn't seem that bad on a car. Doesn't seem bad with, that seems big. And to put it in perspective, the biggest ship in Star Wars, the Supremacy, is 60 kilometers in width. The Supremacy is from the newest the newest trilogy of Star Wars. It's 60 kilometers in width. 60 kilometers is worth 37.28 miles. So it may not seem bad at first, considering that the Supremacy is 37.28 miles in width. But it gets ridiculous later on in its life. But first, let's talk about its history. Of course, why it was built. It was constructed right before the Reaper Wars. After the events of the Sovereign and the Collectors, the Reaper we knew were coming. So, we stopped building. And the ships we built were multiple in design, but one was built by an admiral who knew what needed. The admiral name was Josh Searles. He designed a warship using multiple different nations. He uses the best design he could find. It was based off the product core what the Republic built during the war against the Confederacy. So, what happened? Why was it built? It was built with one thing in mind: the ability to outgun anything it come across and able to survive hits. It meant to be imagine the A-10 of a starship. Very redundant, multiple systems, multiple backup systems, backup systems. The bridge are able to retract into the hull to keep the crew alive, so no suicide pilots destroying this warship. And it's covered in flak. It is covered in every type of gun type we had at our disposal for the Great Galactic Coalition. Or the Galactic Coalition at that time. We used every weapon we had available, which was a lot of weapons. The first ship type was called Prototype X, or -1 001 or not Galactic Coalition. Sorry. The United Galactic Coalition test ship 000-1. It was two built, 00-1 and 00-2. Each one meant to test a different aspect of the 50 states. The 001 was to test the armor, shielding, and engines, while test 2 was meant to test weaponry, see how much weapon we can throw on a ship before its power starts to be depleted. And eventually were both modified to have equal amount of capabilities, though they were mediocre in their capabilities. But it led to the creation of the 50 states. The first 50 states were built right before the Reapers invaded in 30 and well, by 3620, the Reapers invaded. By this time, the first 50 states were complete. This warship was 25 miles long. I got everything right here. 25 miles long. Hurry up, load. It was only 10 miles wide at the time. Yeah, 10 miles wide. It, with the bridge fully extended, the height was 155-story buildings. That's tall. These are tall. This is a very big warship. It was meant to throw everything we had against the Reaper's threat. So, the design was set. By the time the Reaper invaded, the 50 states were fully ready for combat. But the Reapers still had a solid match because it's only one warship. Sure, I could take on a Reaper or a fleet of Reapers, but the Reapers weren't attacking like that. They were attacking everywhere. So, next best thing was make other ships of similar size to help hold off the Reapers until the 50 states gets there. And that led to the creation of other warships. I'll just name a few that led to the Glory class, the New Redemption class, a smaller ship, very much smaller, only got 10 miles long, 2 miles wide, at least 100 stories tall. Very, very small compared to the 50 states. But these ships did not have the ability to hold off the Reaper threat like the 50 states did. So another 5 were commissioned. Of course, only two others were built in the war. The other 2 was built in the war was the it was the United Galactic Coalition, Super Heavy Dreadnought, USA, and the third one was the United States. These are the first 3 that was built, and built during the Reaper War. Before and during the Reaper War. With these extra ships, we were able to do a lot more counter-offensive against the Reaper threat. But it did not such a shine until after the Reaper Wars. It was finally equipped with this weapon we've been working on the Galactic Coalition been working on for a long time. A super condensed coalescing a beam weapon was able to bring down a small moon. Otherwise known as a Death Star gun. Best way to describe it is just a Death Star cannon. That's the only way I can describe it, as a Death Star cannon. Now, with this cannon, you as can say, with this gun, many things were able to happen. We were able to bring the 50 state up to on par with some of the battle stations that the Galactic Empire we were learning that were building. Battle stations that could take on whole entire fleets by themselves. Well, which we had our own, so it makes sense. So we built other weapons into it. As the ship grew more and more, we ran out of room in the 25-mile-long version before the war starts in the Glactic War. When the Glactic War starts, the 50 states was final what was thought to be the final update before we switched to a new class. It was going through its test phases. It added a new rear compartment, a rear section to the 50 states, a new new engine bay, new reactor center, and pretty much put the reactors in another portion of the ship, giving more room to add more guns. Of course, this was a problem because we had to have the 50 states disabled to have the reactors removed and have new reactors put in. So it was not able to be done until we had some time to do it, which we did at the very beginning of the war. At the very beginning of the war, the Glactic War, the 50 states was in the front lines all the time. And unfortunately, one of the 50 states were captured before the war started. What became the Docking flagship, which had the upgrade. It was 50 miles long by this point. 50 miles long, 50 miles wide. Very terrifying amount of weapons it had. This was the second ship that was stolen by the Dark Emperor. We didn't know about this one either because it was a black ship. Black ships are pretty much a part of a secret project where we cannot reveal to the public that they were stolen. Because if they were revealed to the public, we would have public crisis. So we never revealed it to the public. Lord of the Admiralty revealed it to the rest of the admirals, which caused issues later down the line when we learned more and more other stuff that our naval intelligence was hiding from us. But anyway, 50 states. By the time the war reached the halfway point at 4180, around the halfway point, finally had the time to upgrade the 50 states. It will finally upgrade to the 50-mile-long edition, or Mark, as we call it. This upgrade added new reactors, new engines, brand new weapons, and finally add the new complements to the super laser. Four small tachyon burst lances. 8 tachyon lances, each one taking a position near the laser. Then another 8 plasma lances. Finally, 2 magnetically accelerated projectile cannons. These are huge in diameter. These are pretty much the size of a small asteroid. Pretty much, I think. I may have, I forgot the diameter. I forgot the diameter of the shells, the projectile of fire, but these are so powerful, going so fast, that it will rip a hole through any ship. Even with shields fully up, it will rip through the shields. And there's 2 of them. Of course, these take a lot of power and put the 50 states in a more vulnerable position. Same thing with the super laser, but they're even worse there. Even with the upgrades, the super laser is still unusable. It was usable, but it brought many flaws, as they would say, for the amount of heat it produces, the amount of just everything it release, the amount of heat we had to release it somewhere, making our cloak impossible to use when we fired the super laser. But we kind of fixed that vulnerability with new shield capacitors, which takes a lot more power in and holds it in longer, so the shields are a little bit stronger than they were. By the end of the war, 50 states received multiple other wartime upgrades, not in length but in newer technologies. By the time of the end of the war, 50 states reached the most highly modified warship by any warship in the fleet. Even the warships were older and still in service. They were less modified than the 50 states class. The 50 states herself is the most modified ship in the fleet. From the original 25-mile long ship to a 50-mile long war, a monster pretty much. The Unstoppable Giant, as it was soon called by the enemies of the Galactic Empire. With this, the 50 states brought the end to the war by delivering the final blow to the Dark Emperor's flagship called the Damnation. And Admiral Slavs made sure the war finished by pinning Dark Emperor to the last reactor of the Damnation before exploding, killing Dark Emperor. But this ain't the end of the story of the 50 states. The 50 states were built to be soon gain notoriety. By the time the war ended, we want to be a peaceful civilization so we control all the galaxy. The government at the time recently declared Galactic Federation wanted to scuttle the 50 states class, since they saw it as an unnecessary warship, a warship for war. A warship represents power and fear. But the people didn't see it that way. The people saw the 50 states as a symbol of hope, a symbol of freedom, a symbol of the fact that no matter what, we will win any conflict. We are protected. We are safe. So, it was decided the 50 states would end at 25 warships. And so, the last 25 were built with the final upgrade. The final upgrade brought the ship up to 75 miles long. And this is the biggest warship we could ever build. We tried to build bigger warships, up to 100 miles long, 50 miles wide. Actually, it was more like 45 miles wide. But these ships were so unstable that if they get brought anywhere near a gravitational plane, it will slowly begin to rip apart. Stress. In combat, they were ineffective. We even tested them against the 50 states herself right before her final upgrades. They stood no chance against the maneuverability of the 50 states. Even with all the advanced technology shoved in these larger warships, we learned that they are weak to no matter what. But the 50 states were a perfect size, with perfect amount of technology. When the 75 version was done, we were done upgrading them. Well, we were done increasing the length. We were not done upgrading them at all. With the 50 states class, it represents the fighting spirit of humanity, the fighting spirit of the Galactic Federation. United Galactic Federation. Okay, no matter what you do to that ship will come back 10 times stronger, 10 times harder, and make sure you're not leaving the fight without a bloody nose, or leaving the fight limping your way home. This warship is a brawler through and through. Even though it had long-range weapons, even though it had carrier capability, this ship is a pure brawler ship. Its armor is dense as all. It's very difficult to burrow a hole in the armor without running into issues of being plummeted by fire as well. These ships don't mess around with these states. And with so, the 50 state became a symbol. But once for the project to end the War of Reaper became a staple of the Galactic Federation. And it became a staple of Alpha Fleet itself. The 50 states class represents the best of the best military technology has to offer. And what happens when you have the perfect amount of technology, of every type of technology you could possibly have, and throw it into a warship. You get the 50 states. And so, the 50 states is not done. History is not over yet. But it will not make an appearance in the Aftermath campaign. Not in a long time. But it will eventually make a return to the D&D screens. Make it debut in D&D, but not anytime soon. But there will be more lore revealed about the vessels soon. We begin with an overview of the 50 states. We'll go through the weapons, the armaments, everything in the video. But until then, remember, roll on that 20, get a crit, and we all remember, like, subscribe, roll a d20, get a crit, and see y'all in the next video.